posted as a short. Okay. Morning, everybody. This is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Sorry about that. So, I'm all full of piss and vinegar this morning. I woke up and watched a video from someone I see as pretty credible, and I agree. After watching, long story short, I don't think that we know who killed Charlie Kirk. And on TikTok, you have to doctor your language up so that you can get your message out. Wild times to be alive, that's for sure. Morning, Angie. Not a conspiracy. Video and comments. Hmm. Let's get this on the FYP, huh? So, you go live on Twitch. I think it's super interesting. It's super interesting that obviously I'm still here, so my seventh rapture. You're still here. Funny how that went. I heard some escalators stop and Pam and Melania are trying to get someone fired. Yeah, that happened yesterday. We posted it in the chat. Yesterday, the President of the United States and his wife were in the United Nations building and they were getting on an escalator to go up. And about two steps on, the escalator stopped. And I'll be honest with you, I really want to know what kind of music they were playing in the lobby. You know how in the lobby of buildings sometimes there'll be a piano, but a lot of times they just play, soft music over a loudspeaker. I really want to know what were they listening to as that elevator escalator stopped. And they're just standing there like doo 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 doo. It's just like it's too funny, man. It's like you got to realize the worst people you've ever heard of in your whole life are having a rough go. And listen, and listen. That's hilarious for me. I don't know about anybody else, but that is some enjoyable shit right there. Hmm. Appreciate y'all. Without the audience, the show's not the same. So yeah, let's start the show as we should. A little bit of war, okay? And one of the things I hope that you'll appreciate is that this show is also all natural. Good to go. I learned something about Charlie Kirk that I think is worth sharing. Um, Charlie Kirk, much like me, was just like a podcaster. And then once you venture outside your house and get into the public eye, he ran into someone whose name I forgot, and they financed him. And we could go find out his name. I don't think that's necessarily relevant. but they financed the beginning of Turning Point USA. Okay, so if you ever wondered why won't Jared just let me give me his money and let him start the American Socialist Party? Do you see how maybe the guy that financed the start of Turning Point USA might have influenced Charlie Kirk a little bit? Do you see how that might be problematic? I do. $3.4 million dollars. That's a lot of money. Hmm. And trust me, it's not that that money's not out there. It's not that that help's not out there. Mm-mm. Is it correct? Is it the right thing to do? Right? It should be laborious. Like it should be difficult for me to start the American Socialist Party because I didn't have the money to just shit it out and make it happen. Otherwise, we'd have started this thing a long time ago, right? And the reason we haven't started fundraising is because we don't have a place to put the money, right? And the money is everything, but it has to be done the right way. If it's not done the right way, it won't work. It'll flop, just like all these other fucking political parties. It's got some scumbag attached that's trying to profit personally, right? I'm still, it's still collaboration. Invite guests. Hmm. Settings. Okay. So yeah, every morning we start this show. A little bit of Edwin Starr's War. Okay. It's like a big old conspiracy. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to make sure that, we start my show by saying the things we know. And the things we know are that Charlie Kirk was not killed by Tyler Robinson. He didn't shoot him from the front. It would have been a lot uglier. Also, I had even said that there was like a video where it looks like the guy they clear the they clear the runway from the right, and a guy at us 4 o'clock shoots him. Right, and we looked at that video for 2 days. I looked at that video and was just like, damn, it looks like he was unalived by one of his own. And then I watched this video this morning that actually tracks. It like makes sense where they go frame by frame and they're like, here you can see the bullet entering here. And you're like, holy fuck. He was actually shot at a steep angle like this from his 5 o'clock. And then at the end of the video, they pan back and they're like, oh, you see that bush right there? That bush is oddly human shaped with a rifle. And you're just like, oh, so the person that unalived Charlie Kirk uh, is not Tyler Robinson and is not George Zinn. Look, I got it right. Okay. Morning, everybody. Evelyn, Danielle, Angie, Zeke, Gabby, Bob. Where's Al? There should be a rule. All donations over a certain amount shall be anonymous so no one can claim they're owed any favors. I like that too. I've been thinking a lot, like, what is the correct way to fundraise? And it's like, hey, I need an equal amount of donations under 50 and over 50. And I agree. I don't want anyone that donates to the American Socialist Party to be like, my money comes with conditions. Right? We're going to do it my way or the highway. Like, no. No, the fuck, we're not. So, I like that. Yeah, I agree with you, Squint. That's a good idea. But no, like, any money donated from political action committees has to just be kept fucking separate. You can just kick that money over to the DSA. Hmm. You don't want money from PACs, and you want to keep it out of the Workers' Party. It's us versus them. Hmm. Slow your roll. Yeah. Can't hang long today. I have to take my mom back to lab work. I was trying to find a way to share twitch.tv/likelyalien, but it's just not. Twitch, YouTube, podcast, news, politics. And as always, if you would like, comment, share stuff, if you will. Got to vote out people who think like Slotkinch doesn't believe in free stuff, meaning universal healthcare, education, and affordable housing. Yeah, you got to vote out people that think that your life should have a cost. Um, I'm a firm believer. Anytime I communicate with someone that calls themselves a devout Christian, it concerns me. You horse. Um, oh, open one too many. I gotta get off the front page of Reddit. Hey, y'all, you ain't gonna believe this. Okay? Look at this. It turns out, hey, as it turns out, everything is for fucking clicks. Donald Trump's own team is the reason that escalator went down. His own team is the reason his teleprompter went down. Here's the truth from the New Republic. A UN official says Donald Trump's team was responsible for the broken escalator and teleprompter he complained about incessantly. He repeatedly blamed the United Nations for his teleprompter issues and a malfunctioning escalator in a spiteful Tuesday speech at the General Assembly. Both issues were caused by his own team. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. By the way, it was like 2 steps. First Lady wasn't in great shape. She would have fallen, but she's in great shape. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are two things I got from the United Nations: a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. According to the AP, so we don't. Once somebody says, yeah, somebody from the AP wrote that. Oh, yeah, that's true. Farnoosh Amiri, an anonymous UN official, said the escalator in question was actually stopped prematurely by someone from Trump's group who ran ahead of the group and accidentally triggered a stop mechanism. So, oops. The official added that the teleprompter that Trump was so upset about was also being operated by his White House. Everybody got that? I don't have any questions. Do you? I don't. When I hear the AP hold on, let me back up and do it in English. The AP interviewed an anonymous UN official who said actually it was a member of Donald Trump's team who ran ahead of their group and triggered that stop mechanism on that escalator. Oh, and in terms of the teleprompter, that was being operated by the White House. Mm-hmm. That sounds like, what does that sound like? A distraction. A distraction. Because last night in Arizona, right? What happened in Arizona? Grijalva expected to sail to victory. So I'm assuming, because I haven't seen the oh woe is me shit, I'm assuming that means she won. Anybody? And I think Adelita Grijalvas was the nail in the fucking coffin. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there's an article for you. Okay. Sorry that it shows a link to Twitter apparently. By the way, Donald Trump very unhappy that Jimmy Kimmel's back, by the way. Yes, she did. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And I also saw another video today that I shared. That's great. And they're like, they got the military patrolling in Washington D.C. They got 10-foot high fencing around the White House. How the fuck did they get that statue there? Who are these people? And I'll let you know that that was probably flown in by helicopter in the middle of the night. Jeez. You know, we talk a lot about. How many's in here? Like 17. Put an invite in chat. It's just think of it being like an extension of the show. I just post links. Link in the chat. There are people around him working as double agents for good. Typhoon Ragasa bears down on southern China after killing 17 people in Taiwan. Emotional monologue, no apology. Donald Trump's the one that owes the apology, not Jimmy Kimmel. Someone had enough of the smell. I fucking hate it. A man that is president over a country that was built by immigrants tells the EU, no, he tells Europe at the UN, okay, at his first address at the United Nations General Assembly since 2020. U.S. President warned Europe on Tuesday that irregular migration is destroying your heritage and ruining its countries. Um, Again, climate change is going to be the major reason why people migrate, and it's caused by the very people who lined Donald Trump's pockets. So, Donald Trump telling these countries, he's the president. Donald Trump is the president of the United States, a country built by immigrants. Also experiencing some of its lowest immigration in history. Like nobody wants to fucking live here. Okay? Tells a bunch of European countries, which, by the way, people immigrate from like France to Italy to Germany and all those countries. Like, remember that most of the people that are going to immigrate are going to do so because of climate change, because of the rising cost of living, because of the rising tides caused by the very people financing Donald Trump. So, of course, he's going to go in front of the UN, hmm and blame poor people. Yes. Well, that's what he means. Poor brown people. That's what he means. hmm Remember, he don't mind you if you're white appearing. Yeah, I'm not watching an hour long fucking speech. Nah, fam. I got better shit to do on my day off. So do you. San Francisco Standard. Casey Goonan burned a campus police car with Molotov cocktails in a display of support for pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Okay. Again, violence is not the answer. Do you see how this person's a fucking lunatic? Casey Goonan, a self-anointed scholar activist. Ego much? Who admitted to carrying out a series of arson attacks as part of a protest movement. Yeah, that's right. When we say protest, we don't mean break the law and commit arson. 19 years in prison, 15 years of supervised release, $94,000 in restitution he has to pay. Has a doctorate in African American Studies from Northwestern University. So, don't you think that maybe his energy, and I'm just spitballing here, could be better used, right? As a white man with what did he have? A doctorate in African American Studies from Northwestern. Do you think we could have used that? I've tried to tell you, you have to win with reason while you still can. I hate to say it like that. Democrats, by the way, overperform in 39 of 41 elections. We are the fucking crazy thing is people are like, "Oh no, we're rocketing towards fascism." And meanwhile, the Democratic Party is falling the fuck out. 39 of 41. Do you understand it's supposed to be a 50-50 game? Wake the fuck up. Like uniparty status flat. And don't get it twisted. Plenty of fucking justice for those that it did wrong. Sure. And what did the people get? Scraps. Nothing. You get people elected to office to say that we don't deserve free shit. Fuck that shit. The US government should not be using our tax money to give it to billionaires. Shouldn't be subsidizing $1 million farming operations. If you can't operate a business without subsidy, don't operate a business. That's what I was told. If you got to take handouts while you're here, right? Yeah, I want to make sure we say that shit too. And how most farmers in the United States, they don't ship their product domestically, it gets exported. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Clean your fucking house. Clean your fucking house. Nightmare bacteria. Hey, there are very few two-word combinations that I gotta see or say out loud that ought to perk your ears, okay? Infection rates from drug-resistant nightmare bacteria rose almost 70% between 2019 and 2023. A new report from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Statistics. Bacteria that are difficult to treat due to the so-called NDM gene primarily drove the increase. NDM gene. Only two antibiotics worked against those infections, and the drugs are expensive and must be administered through an IV. Jesus Christ. Bacteria with the gene were once considered exotic, linked to a small number of patients who received medical care overseas. Though the numbers are still small, the rate of cases jumped more than fivefold in recent years. That's a lot. NDMs, drug resistance bacteria. Many people are carriers. UTIs. Huh. So, yeah, interesting article there. Nightmare bacteria. Somebody said I blame RFK Jr. Appropriate. Yeah, I agree. 69%. Yeah. 7-3. That's a blowout. And they raise their prices. By the way, there's no way you re-sign up for uh, Disney Plus. They just raise their prices in the wake of helping a president violate someone's First Amendment. That's the story. Uh, the president of the United States used his power as president to violate the free speech of Jimmy Kimmel. That's what happened. Donald Trump violated the free speech of Jimmy Kimmel. And that's why Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. That's why a bunch of people boycotted Disney and ABC. Okay? I love it. I love it. And now, forever, it'll be real difficult for me to be into Star Wars. It'll be real difficult for me to be into Marvel. Hopefully, Disney has to divest, and all the IP they bought up, they have to sell it. Because people don't want to be affiliated with Disney. Yeah. So I'm glad that a bunch of people save themselves oodles of American dollars every month and aren't. I can't imagine paying anywhere from $10 to $100 for a Disney package a month. That's like a standalone cable package. And I know we fucked this all up, right? I just want to let you know my parents when I was growing up made more money than anyone I know, and they didn't pay for cable. They stole that shit. They used a satellite dish. Oh yeah, I didn't pay for cable my whole life. We lived out in the middle of nowhere. There was a satellite dish in our backyard. And dad was just like, bury this cable, have somebody come out. We have 500 channels. Nexstar is another company we got to go after. Yeah, what is it? Is Nexstar the one that Sinclair Broadcasting? I agree. They're disconnected from regular life. Yep. Yeah, understand in the years past. See, we just live in a different era now. We live in the information age, in the digital era. Um, if this was 100 years ago, Donald Trump would have been stoned to death for violating the First Amendment of a citizen. Just, I mean, I don't know what the punishment is for violating the First Amendment is, but I'm sure. Oh yeah, oh yeah, big old satellite dish in our backyard. I'm talking like 6 foot in diameter. Hmm. You had to move it and shit when the weather got bad. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My parents were hilarious when it came to that shit. So I didn't grow up on cable. Hmm. Um, when I got to college, that was the first time I realized, like, oh, you got to go to live sporting events because if you live locally, they'll black them out. And so, like, you can't watch. For example, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Every summer is the Indy 500. They black out the Indy 500 locally. They almost like force you to go in order to witness the Indy 500. But yeah, I'm glad people are cutting their further cutting the cord. Stop. There. I mean, you got to realize there are people today that still run Fox News from the time they get up until the time they go to bed, and they probably leave the TV on when they go to bed, and it shuts off on its own. There are still millions of households that tune in to Fox News. Businesses all over the place. That's one of the ways I know that I won't do business with somebody. Is if I go into your establishment and I hear Fox News, oh, I'm turning the fuck around. I'm out this bitch. Mm-mm. Morning, Debs. Morning, Dina. It's all good. We were waiting on you. Explosives and drones targeting the Gaza aid flotilla boats. So more of the same. Remember, these flotilla boats come from many different countries and often are flying the flag of those countries. And any like violence against these boats that are bringing food and medical supplies to people that are being starved on the Gaza Strip. It's a terrorist act against that country by Israel. Israel out here antagonizing the fuck out of everybody. Uh, they're aiding in the distraction. They're part of the distraction. Same shit, different day. Absolutely right. hmm The revolution will be televised. We won't be able to afford it. Yeah, and they're getting rid of, and TikTok's changed hands. The algorithm's going to change. hmm Sick of Israel. Yeah. Speaking of sick of Israel, that's who I think killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Charlie Kirk, he flip flopped. You know, he was calling into question late in his own life. He was calling into question what was happening in Gaza. And Tyler Robinson didn't shoot him. I don't think George Zinn did either. I don't think George Zinn knew Tyler Robinson was on the opposite roof. I think George Zinn said he confessed so that the real shooter could get away. And the real shooter, if you watch a video here, if you watch this video from earlier today, I posted it. It's pretty, I mean, It's in your face. Okay? And again, this is somebody, look at all the guns in that man's background. You think he don't know what he's talking about? You think he don't know what he's talking about? No, I think he knows what he's talking about. Yep. By the way, I went on Facebook yesterday. Um, I got a notification on my phone that somebody was trying to reset my password. So I was like, wait a minute, somebody break into my Facebook? So I went to Facebook and I scrolled. They're 90 days away. There's a reason I can't get on Facebook no more. It's like traveling in the past. Like being on Twitter and TikTok is like being in the future. If you are just on Facebook, you're 90 days ago. Yeah, BB, like think about a whole ass country coming out and say we didn't kill him. Nobody said you did. What the fuck? And calling somebody that was calling what you're doing a genocide a lion of Israel, that's a fucking lie. What are you talking about? It's like you said. I think Mossad. Mm, it's awful. Twitter is awful. Mm-mm. Yeah. Here's a story about Michigan. An 11-year-old student was allegedly expelled after disarming a classmate who brought a gun to school. The incident occurred in May when the boy used his hunting knowledge to disarm and disassemble the weapon, disposing of the bullets. Yo, shout out this kid, bro. Yeah, yeah. I haven't I haven't posted on Facebook, Threads, IG, Twitter. I don't use Messenger. I don't even have it on my phone. The only way I can get on it is if I'm sitting here. Facebook's not MySpace. Yeah. Oh, it's trash. Absolute trash. I went on there and I was like, this whole Facebook just looks like shit. I can't imagine how bad the app is. But yo, McClurkin, 11 years old, seventh grade, never been in trouble before. It's not known if the kid who did it was in trouble. Hey, just think that lady's kid saved a bunch of kids' lives and is being treated as the bad guy. Man. Texas out here with the dumbest rule. You're only making it so people don't want to live there. Yeah, they expelled the kid that stopped the shooter. I got expelled in third grade. My my dad was mad at me and I don't remember why, but he pushed me down a flight of stairs in our house. And then he whipped me like he normally does, but he didn't hit me in the butt. He hit me in the back and in the legs and shit. And he actually hit me in the face. I had this. line on my face. I went to school the next day, and the my teacher was out. We had a substitute teacher, and I was gonna tell her, but I don't want to ruin her day. You know what I mean? So I just asked to go to the bathroom, and there was a payphone by the bathroom, and I just called 911, and I chickened the fuck out and tried to go back to class like nothing happened, and of course got caught on the cameras. And they asked me what happened to my face, and I showed them the bruises on the rest of my body, and they made me talk to the cops, and I sat in the principal's office and for the rest of the semester. And mhm. Yeah, for that happened like in the fall. hmm I spent the rest of the semester sitting in the principal's office, not like in an adjacent room. No, they moved my desk inside his office, and I sat there. Just want to make sure I was safe. He wouldn't let me the fuck out of his sight. Hell no. Hell, that kid's got a lot going on at home. He wasn't. I didn't say he was mean to me. Missouri woman is sentenced in brazen and blundering attempt to steal Graceland. Jesus. Lisa Janine Finley. Criminal career spattered with financial grifts. Well, thank you. Evelyn asked, "Sorry, Jared, how's your relationship with your dad now?" Oh, I haven't spoken to my father since I graduated high school. I mean, unless there was like forced interaction, like where I showed up at a place he was at, and it's like, "Hey, what's up, Dad?" I've always treated him far kinder than he ever treated me, and it's my mom said he thought you were the center of the universe until you could tie your shoes. And then I'm guessing he was just scared as fuck and didn't want me to find out who he really was. hmm I'm guessing that's why he hit me in the head so much. Make me dumber. hmm hmm And I don't have a good relationship with my mom either. She has an AR and voted for Trump twice. So Next Star and Sinclair. Make sure you boycott those. I did not watch Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, I figured it'll get clipped up and you'll see it forever. Huh. Crazy story. 177 people arrested in Georgia after a 6 week Operation No Escape. Gabby said I watched the first half. It was good. Good. Oh, 100%. 100%. My life was actively worse with those people in it. hmm It's not to say my mom didn't help me from time to time, but I kind of feel like she's obligated. Yeah, wild threat. Um, I know some people saw this. There was this big investigation. Yeah, I'm with you, Bob. I'll probably only watch the monologue anyway, which is crazy. Lawyers for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs urged a judge Monday to sentence him to no more than 14 months in prison for his conviction on two prostitution related charges, meaning he would go free almost immediately. The fuck? They said he's spent enough time in jail. Everything a distraction. Remember, uh, when you say the product's name, that's when you cross a line. Okay. So by the way, my work does not have a problem with me talking about my job. They just don't want me tagging them because you do not work in marketing. We would just have you work in marketing. So yeah, the president has opened himself up to litigation. If I was Tylenol, I'd be suing the fuck out of him. Mm-hmm. Mwah, 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 mwah. After having showcased its finest pomp and pageantry during President Donald Trump's state visit last week, Britain's royal family has quickly plunged back into all too familiar controversy. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, described Epstein, a disgraced financier, as a supreme friend, despite his conviction. Yeah, big. They found basically a bunch of routers and a bunch of SIM cards. And what it would allow someone to do is effectively control the flow of information. I don't know how widespread, but pretty significantly. Think of like spoofing and like what you could do with like mass reporting or mass upvoting and commenting and liking and sharing. Hmm. Could affect cell towers and it could have affected cell service. Yeah, saw this a couple days ago. See if we miss anything. Hey, here's an important story. Huntington's disease has successfully been treated for the first time. Sorry for the raspberry. Times my brain ties itself in a knot. Moldova arrests 74 over Russian plan to incite mass riots. Nice. Yeah, Huntington's disease being treated for the first time in my lifetime. I did not have that on my bingo card. We'll get out of news. Penny Wong, foreign minister from Australia, said Donald Trump's speech was unsurprising. I like it. It's like the classy way of saying all the things you want to say. Global investment in renewable energy is up 10% despite Donald Trump's rollbacks. Yeah, Donald Trump flip flopped. Which again, remember, I've been saying this whole time the thing about turncoats is that they're gonna turncoat. Okay, okay. The thing about disloyal people is that they are gonna be disloyal. And everybody thought Donnie wasn't loyal to Putin. Well, now that Donald Trump's like, fuck it, kill them, all of them. I don't give a shit. Kind of tells you, um, maybe with these Epstein files coming out, Putin doesn't have any dirt on Donald Trump. That's what I think. That election last night was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, no one can stop it from happening. But I expect there to be chaos and more violence. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. Dead hand taco. Yeah, the man with a dead hand. Guy from Moldova on 90 Day Fiance, and he's awful. Go figure. God, I hate this. Our mom and dad not coming home. Talking about kids that are left stranded when their parents get deported and shit. The GOP plans to make this government shutdown as painful as possible for Dems. Oh, okay. GOP threatens. Remember, uh, cuts to SNAP, cuts to Medicaid, cuts to the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which saved people hundreds of dollars. All that shit's going away. January 1, I'm telling you, some has to change. Some has to change between now and January 1st, or a whole bunch of Americans are going to die. And mostly it has to do with their ability to afford their prescription drugs and what lengths they'd go to make sure they get their prescriptions, knowing they can't pay for them. And know that people's wages aren't increasing at a rate fast enough to keep up with the increased costs of healthcare. It's going to be a disaster. And the thing about it is, it's going to take forever to get here. You know, it's just now October. We got the whole part of Q4. hmm Oh, yeah. They fact checked Donald Trump's speech at the UN yesterday, so CNN's got that if you were looking. I think that would be a great idea, Mike. Make sure that you're obeying all the laws. Yep. Chickens, rabbits, fish, and victory gardens. hmm Prospect.org has Donald Trump, the Crown Prince of Crime. See the GoFundMe page for CK's family? No. Mm-mm. I am not surprised at all that the people who grift are grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death. Tucker Carlson faces accusations of anti-Semitism over. Imagine going to give someone a eulogy Already, EK already has millions. Yeah, I told you she's gonna. She wants fame and fortune and power and all that stuff. Oh yeah. Have a good day, Beck. Did you get in the Discord? No. They make chicken diapers so you can have them indoors. Nah, I got. Here's the Guardian with an article on our boy Mark Elias. I've said it before. He specializes in election law and won 64 of the 65 cases he worked on in response to Trump's effort to overturn the 2020 elections. Did you hear that? Mark Elias won 64 of 65 cases against Donald Trump from 2020. Oh, yeah. Grappled with whether and how to speak up. He worries about his family, about the people who work at his law firm every day, about his clients. See, he's talking about his safety. MAGA was threatening to bomb the UN yesterday. Yeah, yeah. Imagine losing to him 99% of the time. Excuse me. And the only way that you can affect him is by threatening his life, by trying to make him uncomfortable. Not by defeating him in a courtroom, right? Hey, remember I told you big business is already ditching AI. Healthcare is not. Um, Again, this is gonna be a fucking disaster. Private health insurers or use AI to approve or deny care. And when those corporations are receiving guidance from RFK fucking Jr., I was thinking, Squint, I was thinking about Inglorious Bastards this morning. Why won't farmers rebel against Trumponomics? Because they're rich. Remember, every one of these farmers can just cash the fuck out anytime and spend the rest of their lives doing nothing. Hmm. So much for small government Republicans, right? Evolved teacher seeks to clear her name. Whether Amy Marin Franco saw a pickup truck crash in a ditch outside her school, her first thought was to help. When a young man got out of the truck with a gun, she abruptly pivoted, still wanted to get help, but now to protect children and staff inside her school. I wasn't a coward, she said. 19 children and 2 teachers. Jeez. Pushed the rock out of the way with the sole of her right foot. She ran in the building and closed the door. And they sought to turn her into someone they could blame because the cops were cowards that day, and we continue to say cops are cowards. Hmm. Yes, I saw Aaron Parnassus with Kamala Harris in New York City today for her book tour. Uh huh. Yes, love to see a mask. Yeah. Trump administration rehires hundreds of federal employees laid off by Doge. Hmm. Hmm. That's strange. It almost sounds like none of this was for results. It was all for shock and awe. Hmm. Here's The Guardian saying the American political system is badly broken. Yeah, I agree. I think she's much more presidential. Um, but here's the thing: she can't not say stuff. Good to go. Free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza. We must stop supporting them. Hmm. Yeah, you got to say those things. Can't be afraid. Can't be afraid of backlash. You can't push the center. There aren't more people in the middle. I'm telling you. Listen to me. One of the consistently most popular people on earth consistently is Hassan Piker, who has a representative of what you would think like a large male dominated audience in terms of the percent of men and women versus women. Okay? Now you would think if you blindly if you just blindly ask someone what would you call yourself politically, in my mind you'd get people that are calling themselves moderates or conservatives or liberals. 82% socialist. Did you hear what I said? 82%. Meaning that man probably failed at a lot of other shit in his life, right? Seems to be doing pretty good for himself, though. Has succeeded in pointing out the rise in popularity of socialism. Hmm. Yeah. And the problem with Kamala Harris is that she would disagree that everyone deserves universal health care, education, income, and housing. I think things like water and shelter and health care are human rights. And our job should be to limit those things' costs. Because I work in finance. You know what people never tell me? My mortgage was too much. Nope. What usually breaks them is their medical costs. Hmm. Someone else's medical costs. It was either I put this on my credit or they die. I just think that's a shitty system. Trump rages at Kimmel's defiant comeback by threatening ABC. So remember, he already lost, and this is after he lost. Uh huh. God, and don't flip flop here, Don. I just need Donald Trump to not flip flop once in his fucking life, right? And I want it to be on Ukraine. Because now Donald Trump is saying he believes Ukraine can win back all the territory lost to Russia with NATO's help. I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's like story of the day material. We just need him to hold that thought. Don't change your mind, Donald. And you know I say that. Yeah. And he says that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft. Again, I think it's because there's nothing that Vladimir Putin can do to keep the Epstein files from coming out and it disgracing the Trump family and it leading Donald Trump to a life of shame. There's nothing that can be done about it. That's why all of this shit has happened and so many people have been hurt and died and shit. All of this so he could avoid accountability. And there's nothing that can be done now because Vladimir Putin couldn't help Donald Trump with 39 of 41 elections since election night. Hmm. Yeah, he said with NATO too, so you're gonna sit back and not help NATO. Can you imagine being on active duty and this motherfucker's trying to ship all your buddies off to American cities to enact martial law? We fully support NATO's mission in Ukraine to defeat Russia, and they don't send our boys to the only just fight ever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So remember, we've been detailing the story of Ukraine's buildup. They're getting to the point now where they are mass producing intercontinental ballistic missiles. So they'll be able to fire missiles deep into Moscow. And they recently started hitting Moscow. I think that was yesterday or the day before yesterday where I was like, ooh, 19 places bombed in Moscow. Hey. we're getting into the territory where the Kremlin's going to feel the pressure, and I'm getting to the point where they're dragging military leaders out in public and saying that guy's to blame, and I'm telling you that guy's going to fall out of a fucking window. Hmm. Can't keep swapping territories, Zelensky says. Can't keep swapping territories. Says Donald Trump finally understands Ukraine's position. And Volodymyr Zelensky says Putin's Russia is nothing without China. Hey, I can imagine there is a pipeline of people that are current or former service members of the United States Armed Forces that are combat veterans that are serving in Ukraine, that are embedded with Ukraine. 100%. Hmm. The best of us. Jesus fucking Christ. See, I am I'm not anti-religion, okay? I want you to practice your faith, but understand that there's this saying, I'm pretty sure it's John Locke, the right to extend your fist ends at another man's face. Okay? Who said this? Okay? Oliver Wendell Holmes, all kinds of people have said it. Widely attributed to Oliver Wendell Holmes. I always thought John Locke wrote this. All right. Here. I'm going to read the AI overview because it's succinct. The statement, the right to extend your fist at another man's face, is not a quote from Locke, but is rather modern legal adage, often attributed to Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. or John Stuart Mill, that articulates the principle that individual liberty is limited when it infringes upon the rights and well being of others. While Locke emphasized that all individuals have natural rights to life, liberty, and property, and that no one should harm another, the specific framing of the fist and face is a later expression of that broader Lockean concept. Hmm? It was popularized in legal commentary, notably by Zechariah Chaffee in 1919 Harvard Law Review. Hmm. It is just legal. It's legal, a legal adage, meaning like it's like a common statement in law. So understand that I want you to have your religion, whatever the fuck it is, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hindu, whatever, Sikh. But if your religion hurts other people or, I don't know, executes them, like the 1,000 people that have been executed by the Islamic regime over the last 9 months, this I can't get down with. Like I said, the right to extend your fist ends at another person's face, right? So I'm I'm not with you see what happens in these other countries when the religious become the politically powerful. 1,000 executions in 9 months. Just know this: in the United States, we wouldn't have made it to 250. Right. Record number of citizens leave New Zealand. Why? Minister for Economic Growth says visas for skilled and experienced migrants could help plug gaps in the workforce. Too hard for migrants to gain residence, even when they had crucial skills and significant experience. So keep in mind, 35% of the people that live in New Zealand are migrants. No, no. Of New England citizens who migrated to Australia, 35% were born outside New Zealand. We need a smart immigration system that focuses on the needs of employers, industry, and key workers, not policies that will lead to more immigration with no plan for our next generation. Keep in mind, you want to be welcoming at all times, right? Yeah. You know what I can never get with? I'm going to try to use words correctly. Um, when I was at Purdue, that was when I kind of the end of high school, beginning of college. That's when I would say I lost my faith, and I lost my faith because I ran into a bunch of proselytizers, an entire organization bent on getting you to leave your church. So if you were a non-denominational Christian or Methodist or Lutheran or Baptist, leave your church, join our church. And that's called proselytizing. And it is a huge turnoff to just religion on the whole. Abandon your Methodist church. I had been confirmed when I was like 15. Regardless if I'm religious or not, that's still like a considerable portion of my time taking the shit pretty seriously. Like, I'm not just going to give that up. But that was kind of way these religious orgs work at the collegiate level. They want a commitment out of you, because it's that kind of time, you know. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. 100% judge you by your actions and your words. And people, whether they're religious or not, are just people. They're just gonna do people shit. hmm And it just so happens that my early and adult experience led me to a deep mistrust of people that are like super religious. hmm hmm Because you absolutely believe in something you absolutely cannot prove. And that's fucking insane. Now, I get it. If you're just religious because it's better than thinking or talking about 100% of other things, that I can understand. I just believe in it because I've read it my whole life and it makes sense to me. Makes sense. I can get with that. hmm But there's way too many people that are like, my way or the fucking highway. And if you don't like it, I'm going to take you down. And that shit don't fly. It's like I want you to have faith and I'm interested in it until you try to wrap me in it. Until you try to cloak me in your shoddy, often misquoted and misrepresented. Yeah, people are people, man. Whether they're religious or not, they're gonna be fuck ups either way. Oh yeah. But yeah, the worst people I ever met in my whole life were those people that go door to door. I can't remember what denomination it is, and they try to talk to you about religion. I was a bartender and I also worked armed and unarmed security from the time I was like 18 years old until I was in my 30s, for more than a decade. And so I would be the guy checking IDs at the door or literally serving them at the bar. The worst people in public are those people, are the very people showing up at your door with a shirt and tie on and they want to talk to you about whatever, whatever their religion was. I don't even remember. Jehovah's Witness, maybe? Yeah. And the worst people I've ever met have been wildly religious. Hmm. I've never met I've never met like a hyper violent bigot that was like, yeah, and I'm an atheist. When I had my first kid, my aunt was so pissed off that he didn't baptize her. She told me she will go to hell. Your boy was baptized in like three different churches. Next time I just say I'll vote and I support the LGBTQ and the Mormons. Hmm. And LDS, right? I was a Methodist, and I stopped claiming it years after I found out that the Methodist Church will not allow women to be pastors. My mentor is a Duke Seminary grad. That means they have like a master's or better in theology, and she was reduced to working a full-time job and being the associate pastor, which, for the record, means more work than the pastor. Hmm. And she was also a way better public speaker, so she also uh, preached half of the sermon. Hmm. Zeke, I need a new Mercedes. I had a long conversation with God. He said to pass the collection plate. My Catholic family, she's also MAGA. Go figure. Fucking crazy, right? But here's what we learned about the churches. These churches are fucking horrible too. Like the Catholic Church is the largest landowner in the world. Do you think they pay tax on that? How the fuck you the largest landowner on earth? You house zero homeless, and you don't pay tax on that property? That's fucking crazy. And what's even crazier to me is knowing the Bible and knowing God and Jesus, and then seeing these like giant gaudy churches. And I'm like, you think God's here? You built a golden chapel. You think you think God would have anything to do with this? Oh my God. So yeah, for me it wasn't very hard. I was raised Irish Catholic with multiple family members who are priests and nuns. They eventually left the church because it's all too political, not in a good way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all about power and control. Gabby said I'm going to declare my home as a church so I can stop paying tax. That's what I should do with the show. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You got to make money to pay taxes, right? Ooh. Okay. U.S. President. Tell me I'm in the. Somebody pinch me. The U.S. president has reiterated his expectation that Europe must abandon Russian energy sources as quickly as possible, stressing that by continuing to buy them, European states are funding a war against themselves. When did Russia invade Ukraine? Russia's invasion of Ukraine, February 2014. Keep in mind that the war was going on while he was in office, by the way. Are they now talking about taxing churches? I don't think they'll ever do that. I think some of the biggest donors, political donors, are China buys Argentinian soybeans, leaving U.S. farmers sidelined. And they're also scraping for power, right? Remember all those people that wanted us to be libertarian? U.S. Treasury support for Argentina gives peso Milei friendly leg up for now. The Baptist church near me flew their flag at half mast for Kirk. Yeah, I saw flags at half mast. I was trying to remember where. I think it was the last time I went to go get groceries. All right, so about 90 minutes in. Go ahead and throw up. Eat the rich. Apparently, there was a shooting at the Dallas ICE office. Remember, my mother told me the energy put into the universe returns to you tenfold. And that's if you're good. Wake up, kid. It's half past. You ain't nothing ready to change it but the date. You ran forever, but you know bad news. You got time. On 75 to 80 mile per hour winds developing in the southwestern quadrant during the approach, even as the storm technically weakens to around pretty mild weather this morning. 85 low weather intensity score. Canada. The next full advisory comes at 11 a.m. Eastern. Hopping over to Warwick, Rhode Island now, where we're seeing steady rain and completely soaked roads. Wow. A special weather statement is active nearby. Flash flood warning in Columbia. 3 inches of rain. Columbia County, Crane County, Texas. Lots of flooding. That looks like the northeast corner of the United States. I'm waiting on them to zoom back out. All right, all right. So basically, from coast to coast storms, basically, if you live in the western third of the country, your shit's still on fire. It looks like there's a major storm system on the west coast, San Francisco ish, maybe south. And then I also see flood warnings, freeze warnings in Wyoming. There's a storm kind of in a backwards L shape, going from the west Texas across to central Texas and then up into Oklahoma. Major storm systems, southern Arkansas, moving probably I'm guessing east. And then there's just an array of storms. So when I use words like array, okay, see this? It's kind of nondescript, just an array of storms across the Midwest otherwise. So see how your shit's still on fire over here? And then that would be a freeze warning. That's a flood warning. I don't know what that is. That might be like a wind warning. But yeah, the blue over here is flooding. Flooding. And then obviously again, big storm system, big storm system, big storm system. This is, I believe, from tropical storm. So there's your weather. Keep your head on a swivel. I started forgetting over grace. I left that day inside. Well, that's fucking crazy. Gabby said, humidity is crazy here today. I stepped outside and my hair turned to curly. It's funny. Pouring here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Yeah, that tracks. Based on that big backwards L-shaped storm system that's just moving across Texas. That big ass storm in Arkansas, though. But yeah, hey, have a great. It's Hump Day. Have a great day. We should. It's gonna continue to be shitty. But know that like I think we're over the hill. I think we're and not in a like dive bombing to our ultimate demise kind of way. I think we're gonna get a preview of what the next few years is gonna look like as soon as Grijalva takes her seat. I think you're gonna get a preview. I mean, I fucking hope so. So yeah, hey, see you tomorrow.